Okay, first up we have Kendra. Alright, really nice work. So first of all, I like that it looks like, if I remember correctly, you changed this because I think it was a little busier, and I think that's much cleaner. The render looks nice. I mean, you can get rid of some of this grain by opening the sample settings, but then of course your render times will be that much longer, so it looks fine considering. I like the camera shot. It's always good to have foreground objects in the shot. That looks nice. The cast shadows are looking good. Got your walk going on. I think this camera shot looks good, and I can see that you've got, you'll notice there's some body movement here and some head and neck movement, so that's good to see that they're not just frozen still. It's some nice subtle animation there. You got some facial stuff and some head stuff going on, and again he moves his body when he reaches for the gun, which is a good thing. Same here. I think maybe, what would really help sell that is just a little bit of a gunshot sound effect, but that's alright. And maybe if it kind of flew off his hand a little faster, and maybe had like some backwards motion, like the force of the bullet pushing it back. But I think it's a really good idea. This framing is a little funny with him this tight on the right side, but it's okay. And I think this is funny, this cutaway of the horse with the ears moving. I think that was a nice kind of unexpected touch that really adds something. So yeah, I honestly, this is really good all the way around. You've done a very nice job. There's always more you could do. There's always little subtle movements of the body and the animation you can add, and as I mentioned, kind of upping the samples in the render, but great job. Next up is Kobe. Nice. Really good work. Very dramatic music. I think, yeah, I mentioned the last time, I really love this transition you've got here with the kind of lens thing. I think that works really well. Render's looking good. Again, you can always up the samples and the settings there, but that's going to lengthen your render time. So might be nice if there wasn't this pause here, because they look pretty like mannequin-like before they start moving. So maybe if they start walking, maybe even before the camera finishes, that would be good. Yeah, lots of little subtle movement. I mean, look at all the body's moving, the head's moving, the eyes are blinking, eyebrows. You've got a lot of motion there, and that's good that you're really getting into getting the characters to move around. I mentioned for these draws, it's great if you can get the root moving. It looks like you have a tiny bit there. I think you could go a little further with it. And here he doesn't seem to move. So if you added just a little bit of kind of, moving out of the way of his arm to reach for his gun kind of thing, that can help. Maybe blink there or something. But the fall is nice. And I thought this was the really great moment here where he spins the gun. I think you got those hand poses just right there, where it spins around the finger, and he has a really nice grip on it at the end, and then holsters it like that. I thought that was a great ending. Good job on that. So, yeah, overall, I would say really good work on this. Nice job. Okay, next up is Ariana. Oh, let's make sure we get the sound on. Okay, let's just watch that from the start again. Oops. One thing I mentioned before is that sort of drop shadows and outlines are not real in favor, plus you might try a different font for that. And obviously you play blasted and weren't able to render it or didn't get to render it. Also, this house seems to be floating above the ground, at least in that shot, so you might want to kind of move that down. See how there's that gap between the house and the ground, so you might want to try to get that planet better on the ground. There's something going on with his start pose here. And then there's this crazy kind of camera jumps here. So I think you need to sort of simplify our cameras. And it's a little weird how the main characters that we're paying attention to are pinned in the corner here. And you've got all this space in the frame that isn't being used. So I would try to kind of fill up the frame with the characters a little bit more. And then there's a couple more crazy shots. And then we get to here. And then the camera kind of flies around a lot. And what you should do is select your camera and pick all the keyframes after that first shot and change it to step tangent. I can show you in Maya. Okay, so here I am in Maya, and I'm going to create a new camera just for this demonstration, and panel look through selected, so I'm looking through that camera. And let's just say my first shot is going to be like this, so I'll select the camera by clicking on that, S to set a keyframe, and I'm just making up the times, but maybe we zoom in there. So here's my first shot, like something like that, and then maybe my next shot is going to be here or something like that. I've got auto keyframe on right now, so I'm not putting a whole bunch of effort into these camera angles, but just so we have an idea. So here's one, and then maybe here I go to I don't know. Something like that, whatever. And then let's say let's go forward. Let's say that there's that shot of the clock tower that people like to do. Maybe there's something like that. So right now the camera's sort of flying around all over the place, which I don't want. But what I can do is hold down Shift, click and drag here, right mouse click, and go to Tangents, Stepped. And now, this first one, oh, I don't think I hit S when I set the keyframe on that. That was a mistake. Let me fix that first one. Stepped. So I'm just going to go to this next keyframe. Let's see. Actually, I'll middle mouse click here to update the time without updating the position. And just zoom in here. Okay, just make sure I hit S. That should be hitting S. Let's make this tangent auto tangent. Okay, so the idea is this one's kind of like an auto tangent, and then after that we'll use stepped. So this one, I don't really like how it zooms in through that, but I didn't spend much time on this. But then we'll cut. See how these are all just cuts now? So the point of the story is to select these other keyframes and change the tangent to stepped. So again, the idea is Shift, click and drag, everything after that first shot, right mouse click, tangent, stepped, and then there'll be cuts rather than the camera flying around. Yeah, other than that, I think the big thing is to fix the camera first, and then I think you can work on the animation, but it's a little hard to see the animation because the camera's flying around so much. So I think, and then there's some little animation problems there with him stretching out kind of weird, so I think you could put a little more time into those poses as well. Okay, this is Jeffer. Yeah, great job on that. I mean, there's a real sense of drama and storytelling. We've talked about this before. I'm not really, I don't think this transition to the gun thing is working. I might just do a simpler transition out of the logo and then bring the gun in some other way. Could be better. Render's looking good. As I said with the others, you can always up the samples, to get a higher render quality, but it's just going to take a lot longer. So I think that if you could cut out of that shot just a moment earlier, that'd be good. You'd generally have a really good sense of camera in all of your shots. Like, I like pretty much all of them. I like that the body's moving, both hands are moving, so you've got some good animation going on there. This is another very interesting shot that works well. And again, you're careful about the movement so the arm's not intersecting the holster. And I like the idea of closing one eye, just to aim. But I also really like the surprise there. I mean, the character looks surprised, and I thought that was a good accomplishment. And also, I really like the timing of the fall. And again, another good camera angle, good reaction, and then this kind of cool, interesting transition, sort of feels symbolic or something. So, yeah, but mostly great work. I think you've done a really good job.